Hello guys, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you had an awesome weekend. I am here drinking my dirty water. Amla, berry, Indian gooseberry. Smells a little bit like curry. Really high in vitamin C. Studies show it lowers A1C and cholesterol. Talk to your doctor because I'm not a doctor, but I have been doing experiments on myself and other people. I'm also a scientist, by the way, and it lowered someone's sugar 120 points when they ate their cup and a half of rice that they usually have. Normally it spikes to 300, brought it down to 180. Well, it only went up to 180 versus the 300. So it's not the best tasting, but it also doesn't dissolve very easily, as you guys can tell. I forget I have that, by the way. Now, today we need to talk about this potential theory. Is it possible that Bryan Kohberger was framed? This is a theory that has been going around basically since the affidavit was released, and it is essential we entertain this theory. Because why? Because we have seen people time and time again, innocent people, end up in jail. Sometimes for years, sometimes for their entire lives, sometimes they pass away in jail, and that's our system. It is not perfect, it is flawed, but that is why it is essential that we use our big brain, it's big brain time, to question things that may seem off, because that's what we want to do. We want to do the right thing, and we want to keep potentially innocent people out of the system, out of prisons, if they didn't do anything, right? So I am not here to side with Kohberger. I am not here to side with the state. I'm here to make you think about other potential possibilities, other scenarios. Again, these are my speculations, my theories. I'm not a detective. I'm not an agent. And I want to do this because, again, we have mass media pushing a narrative as usual, of course. So I kind of like to push back on mass media and point out discrepancies. And it is my opinion that in this case, there are several of them. Now, some people say, okay, but why would anybody want to frame him? And I'm sure that you have all heard the phrase, follow the money. Why? Because money rules the world, whether we like that or not. So just to bring back some of the things that took place very early on when this crime first started, I'm going to be going back in time just to refresh your memory. When we first heard that the IDAHO4 took place, it was horrible, it was shocking, and then no suspect. And then soon after, what do we hear? That they suddenly had a suspect, and conveniently, this happened all right in time for the students to come back after winter break. Coincidence? Let me know down in the comments. Now, if they had not caught a suspect, is it possible that maybe students would have been dropping out and not returning the following year? I know if I was a student there, or if I had a child going there, I'm not going back until they have someone in prison. What does that mean for those schools? That means lots of money gone, just like that. And we know money speaks louder than people's lives or rights in some areas of the world. Okay, money rules. It's unfortunate that in some cases, it's priority number one, even over a person's life. Remember, this is a life case, so keep that in mind as we're talking about this stuff. Is it possible that the preservation of flow of money into the area could be affected if the crime did not go a certain way? That is such an important question. Why money rules the world. In this world of Moscow, that means universities bring in the money. They feed people in Moscow. So How would people feed themselves and feed their family members if there's no money coming in? Isn't it easier to just put somebody in jail, doesn't matter who, and continue the flow of money so that things can return back to normal? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Let me know. What do you think? And people always say, but Kohberger, why would anyone set him up? He likely did this himself. Again, I'm just pushing back here, but we knew he had access to potential sensitive information. So is it possible that he came across some dirty little secrets at WSU? Because he, to me, seems like somebody who would ask questions, even if it was maybe a superior. And is it possible that this maybe bothered people? Nobody wants an outsider, a newbie, a young person asking questions, poking around, being nosy. Now, we know that the university system is a massive business in the entire United States of America. So is it really that unrealistic to think the university needed a suspect behind bars ASAP? If you guys have gone to college and you have paid for school, you know how expensive it can be, especially if you went to a university versus like a small town college. Universities are very expensive. That's why I had the Navy pay for mine. Now, we know the media likes to paint him as an incel, a weirdo, a creep, a psychopath. You guys know I have a master's in psychology and I'm not his therapist, but from what I've read, he comes across as somebody who has potentially anxiety and OCD. Okay, we see him being a purist about veganism and about how food is cooked. We see him wearing gloves to clean, to move trash. And we have heard from the neighbors saying that he cleans a lot and he likes to vacuum a lot at random times of the night or early morning because he's a night owl. Now, the DSM, okay? The Bible of the psychologist. OCD, look it up. You can Google this. OCD means rigid behavior and a highly inhibited person, aka having one meal a day for 4 years, as we've heard Kohberger supposedly did per his callings. And people who have this highly inhibited behavior show control of their impulses. And these people are usually not people who have just a random, uncontrollable urge to unalive people. So BK seems to me like he had a very strict schedule. He worked a lot. He went to school. He was a PhD student. We know how much time just to get a master's. That's so time consuming. And on top of that, we know he was into fitness and had other hobbies as well. So it just sounds very rigid. Rigid people don't just, lose their mind one day and decide, I'm going to unalive 4 people. We also have heard that, he was an incel. He's an incel. He's creepy. He's weird. He's never been with a woman. But guys, this guy's been going to school for the last 6+ years. There's sometimes no time for that. You're not even thinking about that. It's the last thing on your mind. You need to write this 80-page dissertation paper, right? That's usually what's on somebody's mind. So I'm not buying the incel theory. Incels usually attack publicly, when they do attack people. And they're not done by intelligent and relatively attractive men. Now, also, we know that the crime scene was contaminated, and who knows by how many people, we don't know. And let's not forget the affidavit. Do you guys remember that phrase, "I later noticed the knife sheath"? Does that sentence sound out of place to you? Okay, how much later? I want to know. And why didn't they write that in there? It just seems off. So, is framing possible in this case? Okay, we first hear Moscow PD saying, "Oh, we have the car model." "Oh, just kidding, we don't have the car model, it was wrong." "Oh, we have video footage." "Oh, just kidding, we only have audio and it's unrelated." Then they say, "We have a witness, but we don't know why she didn't call for 8 hours. And we have a sheath, but we don't have a weapon. And not to mention, we don't have unalivings in Moscow, only accidents." By the way, if you look this up, there's really low results. I mean, extremely low results for this type of crime. But then when you pull up each crime on their own, they're almost always labeled as accidents. Okay, that makes me raise an eyebrow. And I've already covered in the last video, go watch it please if you have yet to watch it, all the horrible things that have come out of Moscow. Detectives concealing evidence. So is framing possible? Let me know down in the comments. Now, bringing this all back to money, follow the money. Why in the world did the governor of Idaho give $1 million to help close the case? Do you think that is strange? He seems heavily invested. Why does he want this case closed so badly, so quickly? Is it really for justice, or is there another reason? Now remember, the media is powerful enough to influence the mass human collective. Every time you turn on the TV, every time you turn on the news, they are pushing a narrative. So it is essential to entertain something else, something different from what the narrative is pushing. Now, remaining neutral can be difficult when one very specific incel unaliver running wild, becoming obsessed, takes over the media. Yes, it's hard to remain neutral. But until actual empirical evidence proves ultimate determination, you have to remain neutral. Now, if you guys have not heard of Edward Bernays 101, go look that up, because we understand, when we understand psychology, we see that mass media is just trying to appeal to your emotions, tug at your heartstrings, and target you in an unconscious level. They'll paint a sad, sappy story and say, "This incel, unaliver, jealous of beautiful women, starved for attention, unalives innocent young people. We must put him in prison or unalive him per Idaho law as soon as possible." So don't let those massive headlines just capture your full attention to where you can't think outside of the box. People who don't think outside of the box are dangerous. And if you don't believe so, just look at history. Yes, mob mentality is a thing, but you need to be able to pull away, analyze different perspectives, and then come back. Again, we are not here to judge anyone. I think we'll eventually know more when the trial actually starts in the summer of 2025. But for now, I think it's completely acceptable to entertain the potential possibility of Kohberger being framed. Why? Because when you put all those things together that I just talked about, all those oddities, and then you look at statistics and the Innocence Project, for example, and see that this has been done before. People have been framed before. Sometimes it's not PD that is doing it to be evil. Sometimes they're just pressured to close the case. That is their job. So sometimes that means they don't care who is sent to prison, as long as they have somebody there. So life can continue as usual. I'm a big believer, and I know some of you may not agree. I'm a big believer that the truth always comes out. Even when it's too late, it's just a matter of time. Okay, people think that they can take secrets to the grave, but you know what? Sometimes those things still come out later. In this case, if there are any secrets, I hope that they come out sooner than later, because again, somebody's life is on the line here. So use your big brain. Don't believe everything I say. Don't believe everything the media says. Don't believe things just because you're emotional in that moment. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. You guys have a wonderful day. I get all riled up talking about these things. Why? Because justice, damn it. And since you're already here, and since you're so nice and so sweet, just leave me a heart in the comment section, please. That always makes my day when you guys leave little friendly notes, and I can go and like them all. So thank you guys for watching. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It does boost the algorithm. Leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts about this. Do you think that it is possible that BK was framed? Also, this is essential. The videos that were removed by YT did cover Scott P. Okay, I don't know why. I know he's powerful, but that was shocking to me because, again, that was linked to the white Elantra found in Oregon, the abandoned vehicle. So keep that in mind. Why are they trying to remove videos with this man's name? I don't know. Kind of crazy. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care. Eat some yummy dinner. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.